let's start with a super quick revision of the next chapter, that is demands and recovery. Very nice chapter, very simple chapter, but important also from exam point of view. The chapter is going to talk about section number 73 to section number 84 of the CGST laws. Now here basically they are talking about, let's start with two sections, that is section number 73 and 74. Now here they are telling us that whenever there is any tax liability, okay, whenever there is any tax liability in respect of a person in 5 circumstances, that is whenever there is a short payment of tax, whenever there is non-payment of tax, whenever there is any erroneous refund, or whenever there is any ITC wrongly availed or ITC wrongly utilized. Okay, I am repeating this because this is very, very important in the chapter. Tax short paid, tax non-paid, erroneous refund given by the department to you, ITC wrongly availed and ITC wrongly utilized. Okay, in such cases, can we say there is some amount of tax liability which a taxpayer is required to pay it back to the department? Yes, so they are telling that these 5 cases can arise mainly in 2 broad circumstances. Okay, these 5 circumstances can arise either because of mistake, okay, inadvertent mistake of the taxpayer, galti se mistake ho gaya, so because of that there was some short tax paid to the department, okay, or it was done because of fraud, with the intention of fraud, suppression of facts, means not disclosing the required information to the department, or because of willful misstatements, I have done this purposely, I did not pay the tax to the government. Okay, if it is a case of normal cases, if it is a normal case, means the mistake was done inadvertently, then it is covered by section number 73. Okay, but if we have not paid the tax, or if we have short paid the tax because of fraud, etc., then that is going to be covered in section number 74. Okay, now just try to understand here, whenever it is a normal case, okay, whenever it is a normal case, that is under section number 73, then in that case, first of all, the proper officer will simply communicate to the taxpayer that there is some tax liability due from you because of short payment, non-payment, erroneous refund, ITC wrongly availed or utilized. So you will be required to pay this amount of tax, plus you will be required to pay interest under section 50, and plus you will be required to pay the penalty. Okay, this is kind of an informal communication done by the proper officer to the taxpayer. Okay, then after that the proper officer is going to issue a show cause notice. Okay, it will write everything in the show cause notice, that what are the grounds on which I am asking the money from you, how much is the amount of tax, how much is the amount of interest, how much is the amount of penalty. Okay, and this show cause notice will be issued by the proper officer to that particular taxpayer. Right, now there is a time period. Okay, there is a time period for issuing the show cause notice. Okay, now in case of short payment, in case of non-payment, in case of wrongly availing the ITC, and in case of wrongly utilizing the ITC. Okay, means I am not talking about the case of erroneous refund. Okay, I am keeping that aside. Now what are they telling us here? What is the time limit for issue of show cause notice? First of all, issue of show cause notice should be done within 3 months. Okay, it should be done at least 3 months prior to the date of passing the order under section 73. Okay, we are doing section number 73. For passing an order, first we are required to issue a show cause notice. Okay, before doing the adjudication, we have to issue a show cause notice. Now, if you want to issue a show cause notice, there is a time limit. Show cause notice should be issued 3 months prior to the last date of passing the order under section 73. Now, ma'am, what is the last date of passing the order under section 73? So, order under section 73 is to be passed within a time period of 3 years. Okay, 3 years from the due date of filing the annual return. Okay, now let's say the non-payment of tax pertains to a particular financial year. For that financial year, first see what is the due date of filing the annual return. Can we say the due date of filing the annual return is going to be the next 31st December? From that 31st December, take a time period of 3 years. This 3 years is the time period for passing the order under section 73. And whatever is the time period for passing the order, 3 months prior to that. Okay, 3 months prior to that, the show cause notice under section 73 should have been issued. So basically, time limit for issuing the show cause notice is 2 years and 9 months. 3 years minus 3 months. So 2 years and 9 months is the time from the due date of filing the annual return is the time period for issue of show cause notice. Okay. Similarly, in case of erroneous refund, out of 5, the third one was giving of erroneous refund. In case of erroneous refund, you need not check the due date of filing the annual return. Okay, in case of erroneous refund, the time limit for issuing the order, okay, issuing the order is 3 years from the date of such refund. Okay, from the date of such refund, within 3 years, the order should be passed, and 3 months prior to the date of order, the issue of show cause notice should have happened. Are you clear with this? Yes. Acha. Now let's say if the proper officer wants to issue this notice, show cause notice for multiple years, then they have given a shortcut. Okay, then they have given a shortcut to the department that for 1 year, if you have issued a detailed show cause notice, then for other years, you can simply issue a simple statement wherein you just mention the amount. Means again and again giving the grounds is not required. Okay, so and that statement will be deemed to be your show cause notice. Are you clear with this? Okay, now listen, just try to understand. Now whenever any of these 5 cases come, okay, I had told you that proper officer will informally inform it to the taxpayer that I am going to issue a show cause notice on you for this tax amount. So if the taxpayer feels that this was my mistake, I should pay the amount. If the taxpayer pays that amount before issue of show cause notice, okay, before issue of show cause notice, then in that case, he has to pay the tax plus he has to pay the interest. Okay, interest, even if it is not mentioned in the order, you have to pay it without saying. Okay, so you have to pay the tax plus you will pay the interest, but 0% penalty will be paid. Okay, why ma'am, why 0% penalty? Because you are voluntarily making the payment of tax before issuance of show cause notice. Okay, now let's say if you paid the amount before issue of show cause notice, but you did not pay it in full, some amount is still due, then the proper officer will issue you the show cause notice for the balance amount. Right? Acha. Similarly, let's say you did not pay it before issue of show cause notice, but you paid it after issue of show cause notice within 30 days. Means as soon as the show cause notice was issued, within 30 days you made the voluntary payment. Then also the department is telling you, very good that you did a voluntary payment. Therefore, now you are just required to pay. Now you are just required to pay tax plus interest, but 0% penalty. So anytime till 30 days from the issue of show cause notice, 30 days from the date of issue of show cause notice, before that, if anytime you are doing the voluntary payment under section 73, then the government is totally excusing you from the penalty. Okay, it is not going to excuse you from prosecution, fine, imprisonment, etc., but you will be relieved from all the penalties. Yes, but if you later do the payment, okay, after 30 days from the issue of show cause notice, later if you do the payment, then you will have to pay all the 3. Means you will have to pay the tax, plus you will have to pay the interest, plus you will have to pay the penalty. Ma'am, how much amount of penalty now will be applicable? So the penalty here will be 10% of the tax. Okay, not tax plus interest, 10% of the tax. 10% of the tax or 10,000, whichever is higher. This is the amount of penalty that you have to pay. Why am I paying? Because a notice, show cause notice was issued on you under section 73 saying that either there is short payment of tax or non-payment of tax or erroneous refund or ITC wrongly availed or ITC wrongly utilized. Okay, later whenever you make the payment, this is going to be the by default amount of penalty under section number 73. Are you clear with this? Yes. Acha. But they are telling you that in 2 circumstances. Okay, this is very, very important. I've written here also that this is important, if you can see. Okay, it is section 73 subsection 11 says that suppose if you have not paid the self-assessed tax. Self-assessed tax means you know that this amount of tax is payable. You have shown it somewhere in your returns, but you have not paid the tax on it. Okay, example, when you have showed some amount of sales in your GSTR 1, okay, but you have not shown it while filing GSTR 3B. then that is your self-assessed tax which you have not paid to the government. Okay, or when you have collected anything from your consumers in the name of tax. Okay, you have collected it in the name of tax, but you have not paid it to the government. Okay, example, the goods that I was supplying is an exempt goods. Still I collected the tax, but I did not pay to the government. I'm assuming that as my profit. Or let's say I collected 28% instead of 18%. Then I'm keeping the difference with me. In these two cases, one is non-payment of self-assessed tax and the other one is in case of tax collected from the consumers but not paid it to the government. They are telling that here you are doing a blunder. Okay, here you are doing a blunder, and that's why in these two cases, okay, in these two cases, we will not wait for the show cause notice. Okay, we will not wait for the prosecution of section number, we will not wait for the adjudication of section number 73, etc. If you have not paid these taxes within 30 days from the due date of payment of that tax for that month. Okay, within 30 days of due date, if you have not paid it to the government, then later on you will not get any relief from the penalty. Okay, even if you pay before issue of show cause notice or even if you pay within 30 days from issue of show cause notice. Remember, just now we studied that we had got benefit if we are paying it before issue of show cause notice or within 30 days of show cause notice, 0% penalty was applicable. But in these two cases, there will be no relief from penalty. Relief from penalty will be applicable only if you would have paid it within how many days? Within 30 days from the due date of the payment. Okay, otherwise no relief from the penalty will be made available to you. Right? Now, next point here is talking about, let's say if there was a delay in filing the return. Okay, if there was a delay in filing, let's say GSTR 3B, then they are telling that please don't apply. The law is basically telling to the officers, please don't apply the penalty under section number 73. Okay, don't apply that because penalty under section 73 is applicable only when it is a case of non-payment, short payment, etc. Okay, but if you have filed the return, even if it was delayedly filed, even it was belatedly filed, then also you would have paid the taxes now. So at that time, section 73, 11 penalty, etc. will not become applicable. Are you clear with this? Yes. Okay, so that was the penalty applicable under section number 73. Okay, 73 is in the normal cases, that is when there are any of those 5 circumstances, but not on account of fraud, misstatement and all those things. Okay, now coming on to section number 74, where they are telling us that you have done non-payment, short payment, etc., 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 but on account of fraud, misstatement, suppression of facts, etc. So they are telling that this is a blunder that you are doing again, because you have fraudulently, you have purposefully done this. So in these cases, if you, first of all, show cause notice will be issued. If you are doing the payment, okay, before that also, there will be a particular time period for issue of show cause notice. Show cause notice should be issued 6 months prior to the date of passing the order under section 74. Okay, whenever the time limit for passing the order under section 74 expires, 6 months prior to that, show cause notice should be issued. Okay, now what is the time period for passing the order under section 74? There it was 3 years, here it is 5 years. Okay, 5 years from the due date of filing the annual return or 5 years from the date of erroneous refund. This is the time period for passing the order under section 74, and 6 months prior to that, show cause notice should have been issued. Okay, same shortcut which was available in section 74 is available here also. That is, if the notice is issued for multiple years, even if the department has given the detailed grounds for 1 year, then for other years it can simply issue a statement containing the amount, and such statement will be deemed to be the show cause notice. Right? Now listen. Now, if that particular taxpayer comes and says before issuance of show cause notice he pays the amount voluntarily, then in that case he will be liable to pay the tax, plus he will be liable to pay the interest, plus he will be liable to pay the penalty at the rate of 15% of tax. Okay, there it was 0% if paid before issue of show cause notice. Here, because it is done on account of fraud, that's why they are telling at least 15% has to be paid. Means 15% has to be paid. Okay, if you pay the tax within 30 days of issue of show cause notice, there it was again 0%. Here it will be tax plus interest plus penalty needs to be paid at the rate of 25% of tax. Yes. Then after that, the next one, suppose if you pay within 30 days, okay, in section 73, if you pay after 30 days of issue of show cause notice, the 10% of tax or 10,000 whichever is higher becomes applicable. Now here we are getting one more level. If you pay within 30 days of communication of that order, not notice. If you pay within 30 days of communication of that order, then you can pay tax plus interest plus penalty. Okay, this penalty will be at the rate of 50% of the tax. Okay, within how many days? Within 30 days of communication of the order. Okay, and suppose if you pay it late, okay, if you pay it even after 30 days of communication of the order, then the penalty applicable on you will be, means the amount that you have to pay will be tax plus interest plus penalty, where penalty is equal to 100% of the tax. Okay, so this is after 30 days from communication of the order. Are you clear with this? Yes. So this is how the penalty has been decided, depending upon within how many days you are doing the penalty payment under section 73 and 74. Are you clear with this? Now see here, for the purpose of section, summary chart is given. For the purpose of section number 73, if you paid before show cause notice 0%, your 15% penalty, tax interest anyway you have to pay. Then if you are paying it within 30 days of show cause notice, then your 0% penalty, your instead of 15%, 25% of the tax will be paid as penalty. Okay, if you're, now in normal cases later, if anytime you are paying after issue of show cause notice, after 30 days of show cause notice, then 10% of the tax or 10,000 whichever is higher is required to be paid by you. But in case of fraud cases, there were two bifurcations after that. That is, if you pay within 30 days of communication of the order, tax plus interest plus penalty at the rate of 50% of tax. And if you pay after 30 days of communication of the order, then tax plus interest plus penalty at the rate of 100% of the tax amount is required to be paid. Very clear with this? Okay. Then one more summary table is given for your reference, that is notice and order time limits. Okay, what is the time limit for issue of notice? What is the time period for issue of orders, passing the orders, etc. Just try to understand from here, everyone. Okay, now in case of normal cases, that is under section 73, notice should be issued 3 months prior to the date of passing the order. So what is the time period for passing the order? It was 3 years from the date of filing the due date of filing the annual return, or 3 years from the date of erroneous refund. In case of section 74, show cause notice should be issued 6 months prior to the date of passing the order. Order should be passed within a time period of 5 years from the due date of filing the annual return, or 5 years from the date of erroneous refund. Are you clear with this? Yes. Okay. Then after that, in this this is a self-study thing. That is, now when we studied that show cause notice is required to be issued. So show cause notice is issued by the proper officers. Now who are the proper officers? Okay. Superintendents are the proper officers. Assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner are the proper officers, and additional commissioner or joint commissioners are the proper officer. Okay, 3 levels: superintendent, assistant or deputy, additional or joint. These are the proper officers from lower to higher level. These are the officers depending upon the monetary limit of taxes. Okay, depending upon the monetary limit, these officers are required to issue the show cause notice to that particular taxpayer. Are you clear with this? Okay, this was all about your penalty and recovery demand penalty proceedings under section 73 and section number 74. I hope you are very, very clear till here. Yes, I have almost taken it in detail. Now going on to the next one, that is section number 75, which talks about general provisions applicable to both the earlier sections. Okay, applicable to 73 also, applicable to section 74 also. Now they are telling that, let's say while determining the time limit for issue of show cause notice, or while determining the last day of passing the order under section 73-74, if in between that there was any stay given by any court, then for whatever time period that stay was applicable, that period will be excluded. Excluded here means more additional time period will be available to the department to issue the show cause notice and to pass the order, right? Acha. Now similarly, one very good point here is, now let's say, for example, the department passed an order, issued a show cause notice on you for claiming that you have done those 5 cases because of any of those 5 cases, non-payment, short payment, etc., and that too fraud was involved. Okay, on basis of that, show cause notice was issued to you under section 74. Okay, later we come to know, because of any higher authority or because of any appellate authority, we come to know. Appellate authority means appellate authority, appellate tribunal, high court, supreme court, etc. We come to know that no. Okay, means we win the case. That is, no, it was not a case of fraud. Okay, if we come to know that it was not a case of fraud, then too the department says that, okay, even if you are telling that it is not a case of section number 74, then too we will assume that it is a case of section number 73. Okay, means first the department told that you have done it purposely because of fraud, etc. Then we went for appeal, we fought case, or there was some decision that was given by the appeal authorities, because of which appeal authorities said that no, this is not a case of section 74. Then too the proper officer will say that, okay, if you are not assessable under section 74, then too we will assess you under section number 73. That is that 0% penalty, 0% penalty, or 10% or 10,000, whichever, that will still be applicable on you. I said, okay, fine, no problem. This will be applicable on me provided means whatever was the old show cause notice issued on me under section 74, the department is telling me that please assume that this is a show cause notice issued under section 73. I said, okay, I will assume that it is a show cause notice issued under section 73 provided it has not become time barred. Okay, provided it has not become time barred means the time limit for issue of show cause notice under section 73 is still available. Do you recollect, time limit for issue of show cause notice under 73 is less. It is only 2 years and 9 months. Whereas the time limit for issue of show cause notice under section 74 is 4 years and 6 months. Right? So, if the notice has not become time barred from the point of view of section 73, then no problem, sir. We will assume that this is a show cause notice under section 73. Otherwise, the proceedings are required to be dropped. Okay. See, can we say this is kind of a forceful provision that has been made applicable on us by the department? First, they told that this is a show cause notice under section 74. Then we fought for it. Okay, appellate authorities gave the decision in our favor that this is not a case of fraud. Therefore, this should not come under 74. Still, the department is telling, okay, fine, no problem. If this is not a case of 74, we will assume that this is a case of section number 73. I said, okay, no problem. Take this as a case of 73, but please check the validity of the show cause notice. Only if the time period for issuing the show cause notice under section 73 has not expired, then only I will get the proceedings done under section number 73. Are you clear till here? Yes? Okay. Now, let's say show cause notice to us under section 74 was issued for many years, for multiple years it was issued. Okay. Then we went to the appeal. Appellate authority told that 74 not applicable. Department told that, okay, same notice will be assumed as if it is a notice under section 73. Okay, then 73 proceedings will be done only for that years for which the time limit for passing the show cause notice has not expired. Are you clear with this? Yes. Okay. Now, whenever the department, okay, whenever the proper officer receives any direction from the appeal authorities, okay, suppose if the appeal authorities tell to the proper officer what work you have done, please do the redetermination again. Then in that case, effect to that order is required to be given by the proper officer within 2 years from the date of communication of such direction. Means whenever the proper officer receives the direction from the higher authorities, from that day, within 2 years, they have to give this effect to their directions, right? And yes, whenever any penalty, whenever any adverse decision is received for the assessee or for the taxpayer, then opportunity of being heard should be given to such a person, and whatever final order is passed either under section 73 or under section 74, such an order should be a speaking order. Okay, such an order should be a speaking order means what? Means it should have all the ground, it should have all the proper details in it about the adjudication done. And yes, whatever amount was mentioned in show cause notice, okay, or whatever liability was mentioned in show cause notice, same amount should be mentioned in the final order. Means it should not be more. Okay, the amount should not be more in the order. So whatever amount the officer is writing in the show cause notice, he has to write it very carefully, because later he cannot enhance it. Later he cannot enhance it in the order unless there is some direction received from the higher authorities. Are you clear with this? And whenever the higher authorities have changed the tax amount, okay, whenever any higher authorities have changed the tax amount, can that lead to change in penalty? Yes, because penalty was depending on the amount of tax only. So whenever there is any change in the tax amount, please do the corresponding changes in the penalty amount also. Are you clear with this? And yes, one thing which I had told you earlier also, if suppose in the order, okay, if suppose in the order interest is by mistakenly not returned by the officer, then too we are liable to pay the interest under section 50. Okay, tax plus interest you have to pay by default. Okay, penalty will be determined by the officer. Are you clear with this? Yes. And suppose if the authority is not able to give the show cause notice within 2 years and 9 months, or 5 years and 4 years and 6 months, or if it is not able to pass the order within 3 years or within 5 years respectively, then in such cases, it totally becomes time barred and the proceedings have to be dropped compulsorily. Are you understanding this? Okay. Now, similarly, let's say there was some decision. Okay, let's say there was some decision which was, there was some order. Okay, there was some order which was passed by the proper officer. Okay, and then similar matter in some other person's case was going on in appeal. Okay, there is any order passed by the proper officer. Okay, I have the order with me. And regarding the same matter, there was some appeal matter going on for some other client. Okay, and that decision, the decision which was given by the appellate authority was in favor of the taxpayer. So can I say I will now go running to the proper officer and say that see, refer that appeal decision, and and my order should also be changed, sir. So, but now can we say that appeal decision was in the favor of this particular taxpayer? Yes. Now department will say, that is the proper officer will say that Arpita, wait. Okay, I will now go and file. The department is now going to file an appeal to the higher level of appellate authority. That is, let's say if the original decision was given by the appellate authority, now we will go to the appellate tribunal. Okay, so now can we say my proceedings will be stopped till the time this appeal case gets over? So whatever is the time taken by the between the appeal filed by the smaller level of authority to higher level of authority, okay, or whatever is the decision given, the time taken in giving the decision, that time period, okay, that time period will be excluded while doing my proceedings. Are you understanding? Because why? Because my proceedings cannot be done till the time the appellate authority gives their decision. So whatever is the time period, my proceedings is dependent upon that appeal outcomes. So till the time those appeal outcomes are finalized, till then whatever is the time wasted in case of my proceedings, that extra time period will be available to the department. Okay, so whatever is the time period between the decision, date of decision of the lower authority and date of decision of the higher level of appeal authority, that much time period extra I am going to get. Are you understanding this? Yes. And yes, another important thing is, do you recollect those two exceptional cases? One was the case of self-assessed tax, okay, and the second one was tax collected but not paid to the government. Remember, in these two cases, we had not got the benefit of 0% penalty. So out of this, here they are telling that in case of non-payment of self-assessed tax, okay, in case of non-payment of self-assessed tax, in this case, there is no time limit to issue the show cause notice. Okay, in this case, there is no time limit to issue the show cause notice, and the recovery proceedings can be done. Are you understanding this? This will be directly recovered. This we will study ahead also. Don't worry about that. Okay, and what example did I give you for non-payment of self-assessed tax? Non-payment of self-assessed tax means the amount of output supplies shown in GSTR 1 was more, but while paying the tax under GSTR 1, we paid something less. That is non-payment of self-assessed tax. Right? Now, can we say that can happen because of typo error also? instead of 1 lakh, instead of 10 lakhs we type 1 lakh or something like that. So first the proper officer will tell us that why such a difference. If we give them a reply within a reasonable time, no problem. Okay, then no show cause notice, etc., nothing. But if we don't give a reply to them, then the proper officer can anytime issue a show cause notice to us. Now, whenever section 73 and 74 becomes applicable, okay, whenever section 73 and 74 becomes applicable, please remember, no penalty under any other provisions of the law will be made applicable. Okay, you will be excused. You will be excused from all the other penalties, but you will not be excused from the prosecution. Okay, fine, imprisonment, if that is applicable, that will anyway be made applicable on you, and there will be no relief provided from that. Okay, then this clarification is basically, I have already told you this. Do you recollect when a show cause notice was issued to me under section 74? Okay, let's say show cause notice was issued to me under section 74 on a particular date. Okay, then I went for appeal and I won the appeal. Then the appellate authority told that no, this is not a case of section 74. Still the department said that okay, no problem. If it is not a case of section 74, still we will make a 73 applicable on you. Means all the proceedings will be done on you, assuming that this show cause notice was issued under section 73. Okay, so now here what did I say? I told that okay, the date on which this notice was issued, okay, check that as on that date whether the notice is time barred or the notice is proper. If the notice is time barred, the department will have to drop all the proceedings. Okay, if the notice is not time barred, then the department can proceed it ahead under section 73. Are you clear with this? That is given here in the clarifications. Then going on to the last two sections of demand, that is section number 76 and section number 77. 76 is very, very simple, where they are telling that tax collected but not deposited. Now, whenever any tax has been collected, okay, notwithstanding any decision given by any appeal authorities or notwithstanding any law for the time being in force, they are telling that if you have collected any amount extra in the name of tax from that consumer, you have to pay it to the government. Okay, and this has to be paid to the government compulsorily. If you don't want to pay any penalty on it, it should have been paid to the government within 30 days from the due date of such payment of tax. Okay, if you have not paid, then the proper officer can issue a show cause notice on you, and you know what? There is no time limit. There is no time limit for issue of show cause notice in this case. At any point of time, even let's say after 15 years, if the proper officer comes to know, it can issue a show cause notice on you. Okay, once it issues the show cause notice on you, now you will be required to pay the tax, plus you will be required to pay the interest, plus you will be required to pay the penalty. Here you will not get any relief from the penalty, and the final order has to be passed within a time period of 1 year from issue of show cause notice. Okay, for this case there was no time period. For this, there was no time period for issue of show cause notice. But as soon as the show cause notice is issued, within 1 year, final order needs to be passed. Are you clear with this? Yes. Then after that, one more table which I want to show here is this one. Can you see this last one? This was the summary table which I had shown you. The time limit for passing the show cause notice and for issuing the show cause notice and for passing the order. Now, in this case, for 73 and 74, we had already completed. Now, any amount collected as tax but not paid, the section that we are doing now, that is section number 76, there is no time period for issue of show cause notice. But as soon as the show cause notice is issued, within 1 year, you have to pass the order. Okay, this is discussed later under section 76. And in case of non-payment of self-assessed tax, that is GSTR 1 and 3B difference, for that they are telling no need to issue the show cause notice. Directly they can start the recovery proceedings. Are you clear with this? Okay, then after that let's go to section number 77. Last section 77 talks about tax wrongfully collected and paid to the central government or state government. Now let's say if you have collected something as interstate supply, means can we say you would have collected IGST and paid IGST to the government, but let's say later we come to know that this is intrastate supply. If this is intrastate supply, then can we say you should have collected CGST and SGST and paid it to the government? So government says no, or vice versa can happen. So government says no problem. Okay, this is not tax ka chori. Okay, this is not tax ka chori. So what you do is please pay the taxes under the correct heads now and take the refund of the taxes paid under wrong heads. We do not have any problem and we will not collect any interest from you also. Okay, this is there in the refunds chapter also and again getting repeated. Then after that, going on to the next provision, that is section number 78. Now from here, basically from section number 78, your recovery proceedings are starting. Okay, 73 to 77 was talking about demands, making demands, passing orders, etc. Now your recovery. Now in section 73, 74, etc., you were required to pay the taxes, interest, penalties. Okay, are you actually required to pay it to the department? Yes, definitely. You have to pay it within 3 months of service of the order. Means whenever that order under section 73, 74, etc. is served on you, from that day within 3 months, you have to actually pay it to the department. Okay, sometimes it can so happen that to protect the interest of the department can tell you to pay it even before 3 months. Means it might not even give you entire 3 months time period also. Okay, so in such cases, you have to pay the amount to the department. If you do not pay the amount to the department, they say that first we will try to do the recovery from you. If it is not possible to recover the taxes from you, we can even recover it from your distinct persons. Section 25, we can even recover it from your distinct persons. Are you understanding this? Yes. Now there are 9 methods. Okay, there are 9 methods given for the purpose of recovery. How to recover the amount from the other person. Okay, now 1. Let's say if there is any refund due from the department to the taxpayer, then we will deduct the amount due from that refund and we will pay you the balance refund only. Okay, normally this is used under income tax law also. Second method is the department can detain your goods. Okay, it can detain your goods and it can sell your goods, not property, not movable, immovable property. We are just talking about goods here. So it can detain and sell your goods and it can realize the money by selling your goods. It will realize the tax dues, that is tax, interest, penalty, etc. It will realize that, plus whatever expenses it incurred for doing all this lafda. Okay, whatever admin expenses it incurred for detaining and selling your goods, even that will be recovered. Yes. Then third and the most important method of recovery is garnishee proceedings. Okay, garnishee proceedings means, let's say I am the department. Okay, you are the taxpayer, you are the defaulter. For example, okay, you are the defaulter, I am the department. Okay, I am asking the money from you, but you are not paying me the money. Okay, now there is a third party who owes you the money. Okay, he is required to pay you that particular amount. Now I will go to that third person and I will tell him, don't pay to this particular person, don't pay to this particular defaulter, pay directly to the department. Okay, and if the department issues a notice on this third person, then this third person is obliged to pay off that liability, not to you but to the department. Okay, but how much amount will he pay? Whatever amount he owes to the defaulter, that much amount only he can pay it to the department. Okay, whatever is the due date for making the payment to you, whatever was the due date, only after that I can ask the money from that particular person. Are you clear with this? This is nothing but your garnishee proceedings, and if that third party does not listen to the department, then that third party will also be considered as a defaulter. Are you understanding this? Yes. Then the fourth method of recovery is by seizing and selling your movable and immovable property. Means the department, in second point it was detaining and selling the goods. In fourth point I am seizing your movable and immovable property, and first I will seize it. Okay, then I will give you 30 days time period, 30 days warning, that please pay within 30 days. If not, then I will start selling your movable and immovable property. Okay, if I want to seize your movable and immovable property, on immovable property I will put a notice that this has been seized. Movable property, I will take it under my control. Okay, and this is how by selling the movable and immovable property, the money, the amount is going to be recovered from that particular defaulter person. Then fifth method is I will issue a recovery certificate to the district collector, and that district collector is going to collect it from you as if it was arrears of land revenue. Then similarly, I can go to the magistrate of your jurisdiction. I will go to the magistrate and I will tell to the magistrate, sir, this is the amount that is to be recovered from this defaulter. Please recover as if it is your fine. So magistrate will apply its provisions and it will recover the amount from you. Okay, or alternatively, I will go to the court and I will take a decree. Okay, I will take a court's order. I will take an order from the court and from the civil court as per the code of civil procedure, and the court will give me the order that yes, you can go and do the recovery. Okay, you can exercise mortgage, you can exercise charge, etc. Then next method is I will go to your guarantor. Okay, you are the defaulter, there is a guarantor standing for you who said that if this defaulter will not pay the money, I will pay the money. Then I will go to this surety or I will go to this guarantor and I will tell him, now is the time, please exercise your guarantee and please pay the dues to the government, right? And the last one is, suppose if this defaulter is a company and this company goes into liquidation, then in such a case, the commissioner will tell to the liquidator of that company, please keep this much amount aside for the purpose of GST dues, right? These are the methods of doing the recovery. Now this recovery can be done by the CGST officer also, or it can be done by SGST officer also, doesn't matter. Okay, entire amount will be equally collected for CGST and SGST. Okay, then another one was an instruction. Okay, this was an instruction basically. Can you see this? Okay, this was an instruction which was issued by the department to the GST authorities. What instruction was issued to the GST authorities? They told that when you are going for search, seizure, investigation, etc., at that time, don't start the recovery proceedings. Okay, don't coerce that particular taxpayer to pay the tax at that time itself. Now you are just going for search, seizure, investigation. Now you can just detain the books. Now you can just do all those things, but you cannot start collecting the tax. You cannot start recovery of tax. Recovery of tax can start only after adjudication order has been passed. That 3 years, 5 years order has been passed. Only after that, if he is not paying within 3 months, then only start the recovery proceedings. Okay, departmental officers, please don't create a pressure on that taxpayer that you go and start collecting the taxes even during investigation. Okay, please don't do that. Recovery can start only after adjudication is over, right? Then next one is section number 80, which says that, okay, sometimes it can so happen that a taxable person who needs to pay the dues is not able to pay it in one go, in one shot, because of his financial conditions. Then that person can go and make an application to the commissioner, to the department, and commissioner, if he is satisfied about the financial condition of such person, he will allow that person to pay taxes in maximum 24 monthly installments. Okay, in 24 monthly installments he can, but yes, definitely interest will be still applicable because you are paying in installments, but you can pay it in 24 monthly installments. Four cases where installment will not be allowed. Okay, suppose if we have given you installments, and in one installment also if you have done a default. Okay, if in one installment also if you have done a default, then in such cases further installments will not be available. Okay, second one, when the total amount to be paid to the department is less than 25,000, then why to take installment for such less amount? This is what the department says. Okay, next one, supposes that if that person has already defaulted during recovery process, then in that case no installment will be given. Okay, and last one, if that person was not allowed to make the payment in installment in the preceding year, then in current year also no installment facility will be given. Okay, so any such person who is only cooperating, who has never been given any restrictions, etc., if that person's financial condition is not stable and if the amount due is more than or equal to 25,000, then only installment facility can be allowed to such a person. Very clear with this? Okay, then going on to the next section, that is section number 81, which says that, now let's say if during recovery proceedings any charge has been created on my property, or if any mortgage has been created on my property, that is, the department has told me that you cannot sell this now, you cannot exchange it, still I am doing it. Okay, still I am doing it for inadequate consideration, means maybe 1 crore property I'm selling it for 2 lakhs to someone, not justified, then in that case such transfer by me to other person. Why did I transfer it to other person? Just because I wanted to get rid of this asset so that I can tell to the department that I don't have money. Okay, if you are doing such a type of transfer, then such a transfer will be totally void, because my intention is to evade the tax. Okay, but if I have transferred this property with good intention, for adequate consideration, if I have transferred this property, if I have transferred for adequate consideration, I would have got some cash for selling the property, which I will use to pay my taxes. Then in such case, transfer of property will be totally considered as valid. Okay, so intention will be checked, and upon that it will be decided whether your transfer of property is valid or is it void. Okay, next one is section number 82, which says that whenever any tax dues are determined under GST law, that is considered as first charge on the property. Okay, first charge on the property, that whenever any particular property is being sold or whenever any assets of the company are being sold, from that firstly GST dues will be paid, except if the assessee goes for IBC. If that person goes for IBC, then under IBC there is a separate sequence given. The payments will be done as per that sequence. Yes. Then after that, the next one, which talks about provisional attachment. Okay, now sometimes it can so happen that whenever any proceedings are going on, okay, and the commissioner is of the opinion that to protect the interest of the department, we should do provisional attachment of the property, we should do provisional attachment of the bank account, we should freeze the bank account of such persons, then the order can be passed by that commissioner, and this provisional attachment order will be valid for a period of 1 year. After that, the property is free. Okay, if no action is taken, then after 1 year, the property becomes totally free. Okay, now in case of provisional attachment of property, normal commissioner is going to pass the order. Copy of order will be given to all the revenue authorities. Copy of order will also be given to such taxpayer whose property has been provisionally attached. Okay, if we have attached such a property which is hazardous, okay, or if we have attached any such goods which are hazardous or perishable, then in that case we will give an option to the taxpayer. If you want your perishable goods, then please pay us the market value of these goods or pay the tax amount, whichever is lower. Please pay us this and we will release your property from provisional attachment. Are you clear with this? Yes. So provisional attachment, when does it get vacated? Provisional attachment will get vacated either after 1 year, okay, or whenever the commissioner passes an order for vacating the attachment, whichever is earlier, the provisional attachment will totally get nullified, zero. Okay, then what about attachment of debts, shares, etc. Now let's say there is some receivables in my balance sheet. Okay, then in that case, I will tell to that person, you will not collect this money from your debtors. Same way, I will go to his debtor and I will tell to that particular person, please don't pay to your creditor. Okay, if you want to pay any amount, then please pay directly to the government. Okay, this is just like your garnishee proceedings. Similarly, in case of shares, we will go and tell it to the depository. Okay, we will go and tell it to the depository, or we will go and tell it to the company in whose name the share is held, of whose the shares is held, that please, if this person comes for selling the shares, please don't pay the money to him. Okay, similarly, if my property is kept, if this taxpayer's property is kept in someone else's possession, we will tell to that person, please don't give him the possession of this property because this person's property is under provisional attachment. Are you clear with this? And suppose if some property is kept with court, we will request to the court, sir, please don't give him the property because his dues are pending and his assets are under provisional attachment. Okay, and last, in case of if this particular taxpayer has some interest in any partnership firm, means if he is a partner in some partnership firm, then we will determine, okay, we will appoint, the department will appoint a person called as receiver who will go to the firm, who will check how much amount is due from the firm, how much share of profit and how much capital is due from the firm, and then it will tell to the firm that we are ready to sell the interest of this partner, and either some outsider can purchase the share of this partner or the existing partners can purchase the share and they can pay the money to the department. Okay, so this is how the provisional attachment takes place in case of GST. And the last section, that is section number 84, where they are telling that let's say if there is where a notice of demand for any tax, interest, penalty, etc. was issued. Okay, and later on this amount, and later on any appeal or any revision or any IBC proceedings, etc. have been initiated. Okay, then in such a case, suppose if this notice of demand was for 1 lakh rupees, for example. Okay, later on the matter went for appeal or any IBC proceedings started, and if the government dues were enhanced, original notice of demand was for 1 lakh, later during appeal or during IBC this amount was enhanced. Okay, then they are telling that only for the differential amount issue a fresh notice of demand, otherwise continue the old recovery proceedings only. Okay, suppose if during appeal or during IBC this amount has been reduced. Okay, instead of 1 lakh, now the new demand is only of 80,000. Then they are telling that now old one will become not applicable and please issue a new fresh notice of demand for that 80,000 rupees. Are you clear with this? Yes, this was all about your demand and recovery. I hope you are enjoying it, and if yes, then do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much.